just thinking about the state of the world today. Don't worry, I'm not going to break into song. Alright, I guess I'm not going fast enough. Anyway. It's like an MK Ultra world. I think I've touched on that in some of my weird videos in the past where I just talk about shit. But this is a maybe less weird video because I was trying to think, distinctly and clearly about the parallels of the modern world and the, outline of what MK Ultra mind control programming operates on, the basis that it goes on. The basis of it is that you traumatize or torture. If it's an individual, you just torture them continuously, until their mind cracks, and propagandize them and all that as well. But until you see the distinct split in their personality and their mind, and one of them will be very cooperative with you because they don't want to be tortured anymore. But it won't be the person just faking it. If you think that you could be tortured every day for, a year or two, and then at some point your normal mind will still be there going, haha, I got them convinced I'm faking it, you're totally delusional. That's why this stuff works. Nobody can withstand that type of thing. It's how evil it is. But, so I'm thinking of, on a personal level, MK Ultra would be, torturing somebody and over and over, having people as their jobs to torture them, so you can go play golf or whatever, because you're the, supervisor, perhaps, right? But, and then you fracture their mind, their personality, and you start, getting the one that will cooperate with you, and it's clearly not them anymore, to, do the things you're going to want them to do. That's how they program the, if supposed shooters, if they exist, right? I believe they are mind control. I don't think it's just some random guy, snap, I gotta go shoot a school full of kids. Get the fuck out. That don't make it. That's not human behavior. We're lied to about what is natural human behavior as well. Don't forget that. I mean, everything that comes from the collegiate and the universities is the only truths that they tell are the ones that are required for us to believe the rest of the story. Simple thing happens to work, as George Carlin would say. A lot of traffic. So MK Ultra, mind control, in mass. What would it look like if you wanted to use that same technique, or would it work? As I guess is what I was pondering. Would that work in a large group as well? You need to traumatize them and torture them. So how do you traumatize and torture an entire nation of people? Well, war, of course, is the very first thing that would come to mind. But then you also can poison them. You poison them so that their bodies are failing, and then that automatically causes a mental condition. Because when your body starts to fail, you have to think about it. It's not something you can just ignore. And so, a physical ailment is a mental condition in and of itself, and then the mental issues could get worse from there. But so you can poison the people, you can have wars, you can create imbalance, injustice in your legal systems, imbalance in your, pursuant of the law. The law can, let the criminals go, basically, and go after, normal, normal people. We just go after them predominantly. The media is completely controlled, so if you think the news is telling you anything relevant, you gotta be crazy in this day and age. I mean, come on. Especially the television. I mean, it's bad enough on the internet because it's flooded with a mainstream, the typical type of bullshit you might find on Nat Geo or CNN or whatever. There's tons of independent websites that are offering the exact same take on those things. And the reason is to saturate people's minds with these stories. The news is not so that you're informed or to tell you anything or to warn you of anything. The news is to mold the idea of how you think the world is, what you think is going on, and what you should be afraid of, basically, what you should fear. here, we'll show you what you should fear, and we'll tell you what's important. That's one of the worst parts, is the media seems to have the gall to tell everybody what is relevant and not relevant issues, right? Was Bill Clinton's thing, was that irrelevant, really? Was that relevant? Did it need to dominate the media for, a year and a half? Or the OJ trial, and all that crap? No. The riots now, that might, but that happened after the OJ trial, so there's a cause and effect relationship between the people having a big problem with something and the government's response. It's the government is initiating this. It's not talked about because they run and are in cahoots totally with all of the big corporations and all the media, which is owned by, everything in the world's owned by somebody, but down to one corporation probably. I think BlackRock might be the only one that we can know the name of that's towards the top. Because obviously the real rulers of the world, you don't know who they are and you never will, and neither will I. And so it's stupid to talk as if we do know who it is definitively, because we don't, no matter how. That's what the system, I guess I should call they as the system. That's what it relies on for its security, is that it knows as well as you and I know that there's no way we can ever have a definitive proof of anything, as who's calling the strings at the world's elitist levels. That's just an evil piece of dung, right? And we can never know, really. And even if we did somehow have that empirical knowledge that this is the person right here, this little group in this room, this is the core of evil, there's no way that we could ever even, have them notice that we were pissed off about it. They don't look at us in that manner. There's nothing to be going on there. So it's like we could never affect any type of change on it. So it's just this condition of the world. Well, then there's that psychological fact. So we got to just condition ourselves to accept whatever's going on, whether it's a war or a spray down or a pandemic or some riots or some school shooters or some this, some that, the other thing. You know what I mean? It's like all those things combine. Nothing happens just randomly for no reason. There's a cause and effect and a cause relationship between everything, individual thing that you can see, whether it's a solid thing or a happening or a feeling in the people of an area, their mental predisposition, I guess you might say. I don't know. I'm starting to lose my point on that a little bit. Let me reel it back in. MK Ultra, that it's that wide. If you wanted to use it on a whole nation, you traumatize them, and the trauma is of personal nature. So in their minds, when you felt traumatized, or like say from a breakup or a death of a family member or a friend, or just seeing the homeless people camping out on the corners, and it just makes you cry sometimes, like it does me. I can't deal with it sometimes. That's like too much. And when I know that it's not an accident, that it's this way, that I see all of the different pieces that I just talked about, the war, the pandemic, the poisoning of the air, all of those things tie together to produce this outcome. That is, people that are completely focused on getting theirs, that seem to be, able to function still. And that's the key dividing factor, is can they still function? All the 20-somethings that don't think chemtrails mean a fucking thing, and I'm just, look at these old people, they're stupid. Yeah, well, you're breathing poison, and you're going to be at that hobbling down the street, can't function level real soon. Probably sooner than the old people you see hobbling down the street and can't function right now. You're not going to make it that far, because you've been in it since the day you were born. Think about that. I mean, it's just that bad. And if you're an older person or of a next generation or two, well, if that's okay with you, then you don't give a fuck about the kids. So people who think, we got to look out for our kids, we got to protect our kids. Bullshit. None of you are doing it. You're letting your kids become victims of the mafia criminal medical establishment, and you're volunteering to bring them down there. And when they come down with all the disorders and dysfunction that's troubling and ruining their lives and your life and making everything a shit show, you defend them because they're helping you. I mean, come on, wake up. It's ridiculous. I am trying so very hard to not curse, to not lose my temper about these things, because I feel very strongly about them. I'm an only child. I'm not real sociable, so I don't have a wide group of friends either. That's not the reason that I want to, people to be alive and happy and healthy. I would like to, when the rare occasion that I want to go out anywhere, have the people that I encounter be functional and not insane and interesting, things like that. I don't want to go out into the public to watch people hobble around on their hover-around chairs and, stare at their iPhones. It's ridiculous. My phone, I put that thing as far away from me as I can on a regular basis. I forget about it for days and days. I mean, that's not good for keeping appointments, I know, but hey, you only live once, right? And what is that thing? That square-shaped, it looks like an antenna pointing at the ground. Right, is that a delivery and reception underground vacuum system? Because that's a stout-looking funnel on that thing. Wow, I just realized how many rivets and bolts were in it. It's crazy. Okay, I better get back to it. So MK Ultra, you could do it to a whole nation. In my opinion, it's what's driving the world's happenings we see today. I mean, it's an organized. It's an organized. What do you call it? A plot? It's organized. So the whole world is getting this rolled out on it, and the more remote and less populated areas that you might live in, it's getting to later. But it's just like the spirit of evil that's got itself into control of all the institutions. They run all the countries at the top. They run all the militaries of the world. They're in charge of all the police, all the courts, all the professional organizations, all of the corporations. Think of the word corporation. It's a dead body speaking. The corpse is orating to us how we should behave, what we should believe about ourselves, what is human nature, what is not. They're conditioning and pre-programming us from the time we're born to believe lies, to not see the truths that might be around us that we would naturally probably see if we weren't being told lies. And it's I had another one to throw in there, so I had Triumvirate, but I guess I lost the third one. Light turned green though, that's nice. In the flow. So I guess I should probably end this video now. I don't know how long it's been, but I've been going on for a while. I think MK Ultra is happening to the whole nation, the whole world. If you look at even the way the advertising is oriented on television, let's say, it all leans towards Black Friday became way more popular term than Thanksgiving. When I grew up, I thought it was Thanksgiving happened on that Thursday. But as the years gone by, that's kind of just slipped away. I guess that's just how people are, because it's normal human nature to say, hey, I can't wait till Black Friday sale. Yeah, and I can give thanks for all the deals that they have. Yay! I mean, what the fuck? That's some retarded shit, but that's our nation. Oh, oops, I said the R word. I probably offended people with Down syndrome who might be listening to my video. Won that now. I better just shut up now. I'm back home anyway. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye-bye. I hope you got something out of that sounded interesting or thought-provoking.